Riding in the wilderness is nothing like riding in the city. Alone with only nature, there's nothing humanly built to anchor one's perceptions. Riding in the desert is the sharp edge of the wilderness experience. And riding in the high desert can take one back in time. I was riding along when I came upon a burnt section of desert. When cactus and rattlesnakes burn, a smell quite unique layers over everything. Burnt tequila and charred meat mixed with the earthiness of scorched rock. It gets into your nose and bones, and you never forget it. On this day it made me remember 5 years before, in Spain, in the gardens of Alcazaba in Malaga, an old woman fortune teller gave me a reading. Looking into my palm, she obviously saw more than what she was willing to tell me. The vision that she had really couldn't be explained. All she could do was pull out words, descriptions, context to be filled in later. She had her assistant write it down. I looked at that paper many times in the year afterwards. So much so that I wound up committing the cipher to memory. But I haven't thought about that for 4 years. Not until that day. Not until I smelt the burnt desert. Then, like flipping a switch, the words of the vision came back to me. Roca negra, serpiente mareada, cactus quemado, sol perezoso, sombras en movimiento, tres caballos salvajes, la tierra muerta, sueños de tesoro, casa de plata. Black rock, dizzy snake, burnt cactus, lazy sun, moving shadows, 3 wild horses, dead land desert, treasure dreams, house of silver. Group of words. What do they mean? A vision? A prediction? A prophecy? Coming from a fortune teller. Is there a fortune waiting for me somewhere? A house of silver. Treasure dreams. Quite provocative. The smell of the burnt desert mixed with the vision becomes intoxicating. With no reference points from any city, anywhere to be found. It feels like I've slipped into the past. Suddenly we're adventurers, outlaws, prospectors, determined to stake our claim and get rich when we find the lost Dutchman mine. Some say the mine is in the Superstition Mountains, but it's never been found there. And many people have died or gone missing while trying to pinpoint its location. Some say the mine is protected by an Apache curse. It is said that Jacob Waltz discovered it in the 1860s, but never got to mine it. Before he died, he gave his caretaker, Julia Thomas, a cryptic map to it. But that map didn't help anyone find the mine. This is just one story of a lost mine and hidden treasure, just waiting out there for someone to find it and strike it rich. People were also looking for the lost Pima Indian mine and the rich silver ledge. Some of these stories could be true, and some are probably tall tales spun around campfires and in saloons after a few rounds of rot gut and poker. Arizona has a rich mining history going way back in time. What we call Native Americans or Indians were not the first people on this land. The Hohokam people lived throughout this area for over 1,400 years, before the Indians we know came along. The Hohokam mined the earth to make jewelry and to trade with each other. The so-called Native Americans who were on the land more recently mined hematite for war paint and cinnabar for body paint. They also dug up turquoise and copper for jewelry and coal for fuel and ceramics. A Spanish explorer discovered silver in Arizona as early as 1581. Spaniards and even the Jesuits mined for silver in the 1700s. But large-scale mining didn't begin until the 1870s, with discoveries like the Hackberry Mine and silver deposits in the Bradshaw Mountains, and the rich silver veins found around Tombstone. Silver and gold was being found all over this area. The Gold Road Mine near Oatman produced millions of dollars in ore, and a boomtown to go along with it. Henry Wickenburg established the most successful gold mine, the Vulture Mine, and along with it, a bustling Vulture City. The Copper Queen on the Hill, Jerome, was once a massive copper mining camp. And Shaft Number 10 at the Resolution Copper Mine, near the town of Superior, is the deepest single-lift mine shaft in North America, reaching down 6,943 feet, which is about 1.3 miles. Even today, major international mining conglomerates like BHP and Rio Tinto keep trying to get permission to mine Oak Flat, an area considered sacred by many native tribes, including the San Carlos Apache tribe. All of this activity brought prospectors, and the prospectors and the people supplying them made boom towns. And most of those boom towns eventually went bust when the easier picking ore ran out. Nowadays, abandoned mines and ghost towns dot the land. Near Oatman, there's two things they warn you about if you intend to go hiking in the Black Mountains: rattlesnakes and falling into abandoned mine shafts. I would add to that the bark scorpion, common around here, and considered the most toxic species in the United States. Arizona has about 100,000 open abandoned hard rock mines. Around 22,000 of those occur on lands managed by the Bureau of Land Management. Also good to know if you intend to poke around in any of these, you might have company, since nearly 70% of the abandoned mines in the western United States show signs of use by a variety of bat species. But it's not recommended to play around any of these old mines. Just ask one of the ghosts they talk about in Oatman. He stepped out back behind the hotel one night and fell down a shaft. And he still complains about it to this day, they say. It's a good ghost story, so who knows if it's true. Some say he drank himself to death. Not as dramatic, but more likely. At least the ghost story is a fun way of warning people of the danger. A lot has happened on the land now called Arizona. A couple thousand years of people's lives coming and going. And a rich mix of events, large and small, is still happening. Arizona is the birthplace of the chimichanga, and surprisingly, the jet ski was invented here, along with the science of tree ring dating. The dwarf planet Pluto was discovered here, and it was a criminal case in Phoenix that resulted in the Miranda rights warning being established by the Supreme Court. So what's in store for me in the great state of Arizona? The fortune teller gave me some clues. Is this ride today fulfillment of her vision? Are we about to strike it rich? After riding along in the burnt desert, I can guess what most of her words really mean now. Black rock, scorching caused by the fire, dizzy snake, the twisty nature of the road we're on, burnt cactus, obviously the fire again, self-explanatory. Lazy sun. I'm here early in the day and the sun is following us closer to the horizon. Moving shadows. Our constant motion moves our perspective. 3 wild horses. The 3 of us are on motorcycles. Dead land desert. The desert looks barren and burnt and dead in places. Treasure dreams. Thinking about history and the rich boom towns, and wondering what it'd be like if we found a treasure out here today. House of Silver. I'm not so sure about this last one. Is it a silver mine? Casa de Plata. That could mean House of Silver or Silver House. Is there any difference? It's the last clue given. Then I see it, and the vision becomes quite clear. No, I'm not going to get rich and find the lost Dutchman mine today, but I am going to have a good breakfast at the Silver House. Just goes to show, not everything a fortune teller tells you is going to be written in the history books.